Hey, how are we doing today? My name is AK, and today on the show we have actor Andrea Scarduzio. Excuse my Italian. You can see him in the film The Equalizer 3. Thank you for being with us today.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
So,
it's great to meet you.
Of course, we were talking about your last name off air, right? Scarduzio, because I was like, how do you pronounce it? You know, I want to make sure I pronounce it right. But you were telling us about the last name Scarduzio and how it's actually quite uncommon in Italy itself.
It is. Actually, it's more common here in the States than in Italy. There are like 2 families in Italy that still have the last name, because we all originated from a very tiny town, you know, in the middle of nowhere. And most Scarduzios, they left Italy after the Second World War to come to the States.
Okay.
So there are a bunch of them here, but you know, very few in Italy, like a handful.
Right, but it's kind of quite cool to be able to pinpoint where a last name like comes from, right? So you're able to pinpoint it to a small little like city or town, right?
Yeah. All Scarduzio come from this little town in Molise called Monterodoni. It's a very tiny place. It's like 500 souls.
Wow.
Yeah.
And 50 of those are the 2 families. And half of the town are the Scarduzios.
Yeah. But in the States, there are like 5 Andrea Scarduzio.
Okay.
Like exactly the same name. They're all females.
They're all
women. Yeah, because of the name Andrea, but yeah.
Okay, so tell us about your cultural background. This is called Cultura Shock. We want to know about where you come from and how maybe your culture has shaped you today.
Yeah, I was born and raised not in the town where the name originates, but in the center countryside.
Okay.
Beautiful countryside. You know, think like kind of like Tuscany, like vineyards.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
Sunflowers, olive trees, very beautiful, very beautiful. The town is 2,200 years old.
Wow.
Like very old, very old. We have Roman walls around, you know, to protect us from enemies.
Till this day.
They're still there, yeah.
So actually, I'm very intrigued. At that point, when you have so much history still alive, right, in the monuments, is everything considered a historical monument?
Well, as you said, you know, there is a lot of that kind of stuff in Italy. Everything is kind of old. Like a lot of these things kind of go unseen, you know, because we have so much stuff that, you know, maybe it would be a great attraction in some other country, but because Italy is so full of it, like my town, as old as it is and you know, picturesque, you know, nobody really cares about it.
Wow. Because I will say, when I visited Italy about 10 years ago, I was just amazed, first of all, that you had monuments like that, just like walking down the street, right?
Yeah.
But that they were so well preserved. Like, you didn't see a graffiti, you didn't see, it was just like, wow, they were so well kept.
Yeah, well, first of all, the Romans and, you know, in the past, they were great builders. So a lot of that stuff is still standing today after thousands of years. And we try to keep it well, I guess. You know, lately we had a lot of cases of tourists that coming in and engraving their names on the Colosseum. So we got pretty pissed about that. But yeah, I guess, we try to preserve it, obviously. It's you know, some of that beauty doesn't belong to Italy alone. It belongs to the humanity, really. Like the history of humanity belongs to everybody.
Definitely.
So we should definitely take care of it.
Absolutely. And that's anywhere, honestly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so The Equalizer 3, what is your role in that movie?
I'm the bad guy.
Okay.
I'm the bad guy, the villain.
Okay.
I do mean things, and you know, and McCall gets in the way of my business, you know, when it comes to Italy, and
so Denzel is trying to chase you down the whole movie.
Well, Denzel is trying to solve some situations, and he happens to grow really fond of the place. You know, he falls in love with Italy. He falls in love with the place, with the people, with the culture. And obviously, like it is, unfortunately, in reality, you know, there are like some dynamics that are not really great, you know. So he tries to make it better for the locals and for the community.
Okay. Well, now, given your like Italian background and the fact that you actually grew up there, I'm very also curious to know, because when you think of a Hollywood movie, you think of a huge set. You know, they could rip apart, they could explode whatever they want, whenever they want. But when you take a movie to Italy, is like Italy at capacity to host such a production?
Yeah, actually, because, you know, the American crews are great. The Italian crews as well are great. And, I say that the combination of the two, they're able to, I mean, if you think about all the great American films that shot in Italy in the last few years, Mission Impossible, Equalizer, Fast and Furious, James Bond. So definitely Italy offers, amazing scenarios,
Of course.
And,
the scenery alone, I'm sure, is like the set, right?
Unbelievable, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And at the same time, a history of cinema that, can provide, the crews and the studios and everything that is needed for these kind of big films.
Okay, so as an actor yourself, have like you maybe witnessed any differences between shooting here in America versus shooting in Italy? I know it's a very broad question, but
yeah, the catering is definitely better in Italy.
the food, the crafty table.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch your health as much.
I would say that's the biggest difference I've noticed.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my God. Okay, as an Italian too, if you had to choose the top cities to travel to in Italy, which would they be and why?
Well, listen, I'm going to go unconventional here. And, everybody goes to Rome, Florence, Venice.
Exactly. We want to know your opinion as an Italian.
So I would say Sicily is beautiful.
Okay.
Sicily is amazing. It's a great land. It's got a crazy history. They've been dominated by the Romans, the Greeks, the Moors, the Arabs, the Spanish, the Vikings.
Wow.
So you see that in the land, the architecture is just like unbelievable. And the food, they got like so many influences, from other types of cuisines, spices and the beaches and the cities. It's amazing. So I would recommend Sicily. All the south is really amazing. And some little towns, they kept that true soul, that authenticity, that tradition that you don't see as much in the big cities. They're more, set up now for tourism.
For tourism, of course.
Yeah.
Wow, well, thank you so much for your input. We like to know from an actual Italian where to go in Italy, not the touristy spots, right? But
check out Sicily. That's where you got to go.
That's where you got to go.
Absolutely.
So now you've been in the Equalizer 3 and also Mission Impossible. Have you ever had to do any of your own stunts?
I did actually on...
Why are you laughing?
Well,
There's a story there.
Yeah, there is a story. I actually I have a few scars here from Equalizer because I've done most of my stunts.
Oh, wow.
Except when I get ran over by a car. I let the stunt guy do that.
I'll stop there. I'll stop at the car.
Yeah, I'll stop that. But everything else, it was me, like, the falls, the crawling, the puking, yeah.
Where can people find you on social media?
I'm only on Instagram. I'm not very social, to tell you the truth. So Instagram is Scarduzio Andrea is the only one I have.
Okay. Cultura Shock family, ciao.
Arrivederci.